And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we're going to do a follow-up on a previous story. Donald Trump, he tried to fire one of the Federal Reserve governors named Lisa Cook, alleging that she had committed at least one, if not multiple, instances of mortgage fraud, much like your girl, Letitia James and Adam Schiff. So Donald Trump told her, "You're fired. You're out of here. Get gone. Get gone. Kick rocks. Be out." And Lisa Cook said, "Okay, I'll be back at work tomorrow." So she said, "No, I'm not." She said, "I'm not fired." Donald Trump said, "You're fired." She said, "I'm not fired." And so this set up a court battle that has gone all the way to the Supreme Court. And at this point, there is no real resolution at this point, but the Supreme Court has sided with Lisa Cook in allowing her to stay on the job until the court case, which is going to determine whether or not she can be fired, until that court case is resolved. So in other words, Trump wanted her to leave the post immediately while the court case as to whether or not he can fire her plays out. Because it's not totally clear in the Constitution and from Supreme Court rulings in the past, from precedent, it's not totally clear if he has the power to fire her for mortgage fraud. So that court case is playing out, but he wanted the Supreme Court to say, look, while that court case plays out, you got to go, sister. But the Supreme Court said, nah, she can stay. So we're going to get into that today, y'all. But first, what we're going to do is take a look at the most recent developments just before this Supreme Court decision, where the Federal Reserve and powerful forces came down on the side of Lisa Cook. Let's take a look. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
David, we're looking at a powerhouse new filing in the Supreme Court. This is an amicus brief just dropped within the past couple of moments, and it's signed by every living former Fed chair, also a number of former Treasury secretaries, both Democrats and Republicans, but notably no economic officials from the first Trump administration that I can see signing on to this document. It's in support of Lisa Cook, and it's arguing that the Supreme Court should leave Lisa Cook in her position at the Fed while the case is adjudicated. What they say here is that granting the government's request to remove Governor Cook from the board immediately would upset long-standing protections and the essential functions they serve. Doing so would expose the Federal Reserve to political influences, thereby eroding public confidence in the Fed's independence and jeopardizing the credibility and efficacy of U.S. monetary policy. Some of the big names signing on to this include former Fed Chair Janet Yellen, Larry Summers, Robert Rubin. Looking at some of the others, Hank Paulson, former Treasury Secretary under President Bush, Jack Lew, former Treasury Secretary under President Obama, Alan Greenspan, Phil Gramm, Tim Geithner, and of course, Ben Bernanke, former Fed chair as well, along with a host of other Obama, Bush, and Clinton era officials here signing on to this amicus brief. So this is the weight of sort of U.S. economic thought here now coming down on the side of Cook in this debate. But as I say, notably, nobody from the first Trump administration that I can see at first glance here looking at this list of names. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like Mnuchin was on there.
No.
So, Eamon, I just want to clarify. They're not saying that she should not be investigated for these allegations of mortgage fraud, correct?
No,
they're saying she should just not be removed.
This is narrow. This is in support of her staying on the board while there's an investigation.
Now, as we look at X, Lisa Cook is trending number 4. People are interested in this. Let's take a look at this ABC News report. It says, breaking, the Supreme Court has moved to allow Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to remain on the central bank board into 2026, saying it would take up President Trump's appeal seeking to remove her for cause during a hearing in January.
Yeah, so what they're arguing here, and I'm just scrolling literally as we're talking because we just got this document, what they're arguing here is that leaving her in place preserves the Fed's independence from political influence. And they're really citing very fundamental first principles here. They're talking about the idea that the United States operates a fiat currency. The fiat currency has no inherent value, and the existence of the Fed guards against a political temptation to manipulate that fiat currency, either to inflate the currency and pay off the debt or other things. And they're saying that without that independent Fed, there's really no control over the currency and monetary policy, and therefore that throws U.S. economic policy, out of control.
The Supreme Court on Wednesday moved to allow Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to remain on the board, but the court did not explain its decision. There were no noted dissents. The decision to let Cook stay on the job pending the outcome of the case marks a sharp break from how the justices have handled other cases involving Trump's removal power at independent federal agencies. Now, this is kind of interesting because these are the money people. These are the money people. Are the money people getting their way because they came down on the side of allowing Lisa Cook to remain? In those other cases, not the money people cases, a majority of the Supreme Court showed deference to Trump's firing power, at least on an interim basis, while the litigation plays out. So federal law allows the president to remove a member of the Fed board for cause, though no president has attempted such a removal in the 112-year history of the central bank. So just last month, the Supreme Court allowed the president to remove a member, I think it was of the FTC. So, but when it comes to the Federal Reserve, they're like, Well, we'll have to see in January what happens, okay? They're just saying for these next few months, she stays on the board. And then I guess in January, there will be oral arguments. And then who knows how long they'll take to actually make their decision. But Lisa Cook stays for now, y'all. So if you want more information about the mortgage fraud allegations and exactly what she is accused of having done, it's kind of like Letitia James, like, yo, girl, but not exactly. Let's go ahead and flow into our report about exactly what Lisa Cook allegedly did to get herself in this situation in the first place.
We have a bad Fed chairman, really bad. If he would lower the rates, and I tried being nice to the guy, it doesn't help. He's like a knucklehead. No, he's a knucklehead. Stupid guy. He really is. Each point, think of this, each point costs us $360 billion. Billion. 1 point, $360 billion. 2 points, you got $700 billion. And we're way high. We're at 450 or 425, 450. And how do you go borrow money at 1% when the Fed has you at 450? And, it's not that easy. I get angry at them. Why are we paying so much? Because he's got you up at this number. And we should be at 1%.
So there you can see there's no love lost with Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. Trump humiliated this guy. He called him stupid. He called him low IQ. He even went to the Federal Reserve and humiliated Jerome Powell in front of the world. So this is not about some of the identifiable characteristics that people will want you to think this is about. This is really about Donald Trump looking to have his way with the Federal Reserve. I think that's the reason they were looking into Lisa Cook and probably all of the Federal Reserve governors is because he's trying to get these rates lower. He needs the rates to be lower in order for him to be able to execute his financial plan and his financial vision for the country. And so the Federal Reserve has not been playing ball. So Donald Trump, as he always does, he's been going hard against them. So let's take a look at a little bit more detail as to the allegations about Ms. Cook. And then after that, we'll come back and I will read you this letter where she is unceremoniously fired from one of the most prestigious job positions, I would say, in the entire world. Let's take a look.
So President Trump's attacks on the Fed escalating today with new calls for a Fed governor to step down. At the center of that demand, accusations that the woman you see here, Fed Governor Lisa Cook, committed mortgage fraud. Cook saying in a statement tonight that she learned about the allegations from the media and that she has no intention of being bullied into stepping down from her position. The president writing on True Social, quote, "Cook must resign now." The Fed and DOJ declining our request for comment on the accusations. It is just the latest move from the administration in its campaign to basically remake the Fed as they try to get the central bank to lower interest rates. Cook was appointed by the Fed board by then President Biden in 2022. And just last month, Cook voted with a majority of her colleagues to keep interest rates steady. Christine Romans is joining us now. So I think this kind of fits into this broader pattern, right, Christine, that we've seen from the president and his allies to target political rivals. And the turnover is happening a lot faster than we have seen in previous administrations. But with that, is there any validity to the accusations the president is making here when it comes to mortgage fraud?
Well, his housing chief, Bill Pulte, went on CNBC this morning and said that he told the anchors of CNBC that he had shown them her mortgage documents. He'd faxed or given them her mortgage documents, the same ones that he had sent on to Attorney General Pam Bondi for a criminal referral, he said, saying that she had misled on those documents about where her primary residence was so that she could get a more favorable mortgage rate. And he said, under no circumstances should someone be helping determine mortgage rates who has not been 100% fair about their own mortgage documents. Here's a little bit of what he said.
It says, "Dear Governor Cook, pursuant to my authority under Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 as amended, you are hereby removed from your position on the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve effective immediately. The Federal Reserve Act provides that you may be removed at my discretion for cause. As set forth in the criminal referral dated August 15, 2025, from Mr. William J. Pulte, Director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, to Ms. Pamela Bondi, Attorney General of the United States, there is sufficient reason to believe you may have made false statements on one or more mortgage agreements. For example, as detailed in the criminal referral, you signed one document attesting that a property in Michigan would be your primary residence for the next year. 2 weeks later, you signed another document for a property in Georgia stating that it would be your primary residence for the next year. It is inconceivable that you were not aware of your first commitment when making the second. It is impossible that you intended to honor both. The Federal Reserve has tremendous responsibility for setting interest rates and regulating reserve and member banks. The American people must be able to have full confidence in the honesty of members entrusted with setting policy and overseeing the Federal Reserve. In light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot, and I do not, have such confidence in your integrity. At a minimum, the conduct at issue exhibits the sort of gross negligence in financial transactions that calls into question your competence and trustworthiness as a financial regulator. So there he mentions William Pulte. Pulte is the person who referred Letitia James as well to the DOJ for potential criminal prosecution. Let's see what Pulte has to say about this situation.
I'll tell you this, Jay Powell, he has a chance to do the right thing by the law. I mean, this is just, this is common sense what he needs to do here.
So he's saying that he has referred this and that she should not have that job. That would then open up a new position for the president to appoint maybe somebody who sees more eye with him on rates. And I should say, we do not have any proof that there was any wrongdoing here. Right. But you're right that this administration has gone after people on this particular subject before. And of course, critics of the president's stance on this would say, well, he has been convicted of fudging numbers related to real estate himself, so that there's a sort of a rich irony there.
So there you have it, y'all. Donald Trump has fired. This is the first time ever that a governor of the Federal Reserve has been fired. So this is truly a historic moment. Again, Donald Trump would probably like to fire almost all of them if he could, but it just so happens he found cause for this lady. Let me know this. How does this make y'all feel? Do you think Donald Trump is protecting the country with this? Do you feel like maybe he's overstepping his bounds, even though there is cause, according to his administration, to fire her? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. But before you do, y'all, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Y'all, if you have a retirement, look at this is financial news. This affects you. You better back your retirement up and protect it. Y'all, gold. I've been telling y'all on every video for months and months now, hundreds of videos. Look into gold. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Speak to my people at Augusta Precious Metals about protecting your money. Don't you want it to still be there when you go to collect at retirement? Give them a call at 844-651-8334. Trust me, you will be happy that you did. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.